Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and we're back with another brand new LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising review, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound. This is one of the main villain creatures from the realm of Imperium, which is a brand new land. Now, at the time of recording this video, the new TV series has not launched yet, so I'm very curious to see how this looks like in the show. We've gotten a very short glimpse of it in the trailers, but this looks like a really fun and exciting build. Almost reminds me of the LEGO Vikings Fenris Wolf from all the way back in the day. So this is going to be so much fun, and do stay tuned to the channel because we have reviews of all of the other Ninjago Dragons Rising sets coming your way very soon as well. So without further ado, let's jump in to this set. Okay, so here we have set number 71790, the Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound. It comes with 198 pieces, retails for $20 or 21 euros, and this may actually be one of my favorite sets in the entire wave. And let me explain why. We're going to get into it. First of all, it does have 3 minifigures, Lloyd, Jay, as well as one of the Imperium Hunter Generals here. He has a very long-bladed weapon utilizing the brand new dual-molded holographic blade piece, which I think is the perfect weapon to use on the Hound. It has a very aggressive aesthetic to it, and I think that this set looks a lot better than it actually does on the box art itself. I was pleasantly surprised when putting this together, and this may be one of my favorite LEGO Ninjago creature builds yet. But first of all, let's talk about the minifigures. Now, for the minifigures, I have already done a minifigure mega review, so do stay tuned to that video, which I posted a few days ago for my full thoughts on the minifigures themselves, so I'm going to be very brief here. First of all, we have Lloyd. Here's what he looks like with the armor and mask removed. That is the nice new facial expression for him, very serious, evoking his almost master-like character in the new season, and I really just wish that you were able to move their heads with the armor piece on, because unfortunately, you can't really pose these around. Jay here, for the first time, has a very angry expression, which is something that is also really cool to get, because we never really get angry expressions for Jay. It is something brand new for him, and I also really like that with the hood on and with the heads-up display on the mask itself, you actually have a bit of a lightning design on the sides of the mask, where every single one of the ninja has bits in their elements going alongside their eyes. Now, the guard general here himself is just a pretty generic kind of standard villain, but it is one of the coolest villain characters that we've seen from Ninjago to date. I love the way this new beetle-like helmet turned out. You have printing on the front and back of the head, even though you didn't need to, because this is mostly going to be covered. It just adds to the technological layering of things, and you also have a brand new armor piece, which is introduced for all of the new figures of this wave. Here's what the torso looks like front and back without the armor, and one thing I really like is that visually, these guards from Imperium feel very different compared to the ninja. They almost feel like they're from separate themes, which in this case is a good thing because they are from literally a different realm, which there are some realms that are other LEGO themes like Chima, so I think it makes total sense that these feel like they have a completely different visual style and flair than anything else we've seen from Ninjago so far. Now, there is just one last minor and kind of strange thing that I wanted to point out while we're on the topic of minifigures. It's not really a big deal, but something I found funny and not something I've experienced in any other LEGO set before is that this may have just been my copy of the set, but do let me know once the set comes out what people experience with it. Bag 1 instructs you to build Jay, Blue Ninja of Lightning. Bag 2 instructs you to build Lloyd, the Green Ninja, and their parts were switched in the bags that they came in. Like, for me, Bag 1 had Lloyd and Bag 2 had Jay. I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, that is a really weird mistake to make for LEGO to either get it wrong in the packaging or get it wrong in the instruction manual. Not a big deal at all. I mean, you could understand where to put all the pieces, but I could imagine that some kids, when opening this up for the first time, would be a little bit confused, maybe questioning if they're colorblind if they open this up, see they have to build the Blue Ninja, and all the parts are green. Otherwise, we can just move on then. So I think it's time to take a look at the set itself. Now, this is so much fun to play around with and pose. First of all, you have the legs mounted on mixel joints, so you can actually get this in a crazy amount of different poses. You could have kind of a walking pose here, where it's kind of prowling along on patrol. You can have a more hunched down look, like it's ready to pounce, like it's really ready to go and attack prey, like so. Like, this is a really dynamic pose. You can have it even just kind of rearing up. I think you can kind of get this so it's, if you really have it positioned right, you can kind of get it so it's swinging upwards like so. If you just get the balance right, I achieved this earlier. This one obviously takes a little bit of playing around with, but I think you get the point. You can get a lot of really fun poses out of just this one build, and it feels like a hound in the way that it's built. I love how angular the shaping of the body is. You have this very angled downwards part of the front body, and then it kind of curves backwards to the back legs. You have a tail that is a wolf-like tail on the back here. The only downside in terms of posability is that these are not mounted on mini ball joints or mixel joints. Instead, the back legs are mounted on ratchet joints, which the reason for this is to just simply make them stronger and easier for kids to play with. When kids plonk this down, the front legs already kind of splay outwards, and they didn't want it to just fully collapse, so they changed the joints to ratchet joints, which really limit the posability, but do make it stronger and I guess in some ways easier to pose and hold poses. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is that you then cannot move the back legs back and forth. They are only fixed at splaying out side to side at particular ratchet joints, but for those who do want to be able to pose this more, it is a super easy fix. Literally, just swap these out for mixel joints and you will be totally good to go. So, thankfully, for those who do want that option, it is LEGO after all, and you do have the ability to change it around, and it's not really even a hard change, it literally is just changing out 4 pieces. Now, the head itself utilizes a brand new mold, which they have propagated throughout these brand new Dragons Rising sets. It is a very strange piece that I'm honestly not really quite sure what to make of this. It is really unique in the way it's designed. We can kind of see how it looks like right here, where both of the eyes are printed on here, but you kind of have almost eyebrows that are molded into it, but it could also work as armor or car hood detailing. I'm really curious what other usages LEGO is going to have for this piece down the line, because it certainly is quite an interesting new thing. Now, on the back here, you have a really nice sticker for the Imperium flag. The color scheme is so good where the gold feels like armor, like you've gotten armor add-ons for the golden claws, for the legs, the side of the body is armored up, and you even have a golden spike in the middle to make it feel more aggressive. But then underneath, you have the black and the dark red, which feels more like the fur of the character, where this feels like a living creature. And the head is done really nicely as well. Overall, this is giving me a lot of nostalgia for some of my favorite classic LEGO Viking sets, like the Fenris Wolf. That was a really cool set to get. Obviously, this is a lot better and bigger and more beefed up, but it has the same feeling of a set like that, and really that's the most important thing. I just love how poseable this is. You can get this, like, look at how dynamic this pose is. You can really even have it, like, if you wanted to, splayed out like it's kind of in a power stance here. There are crazy amounts of things that you can do with this. It's just so much fun to play with and kind of brings out the inner kid in me. When playing around with this, you can really feel like this is a threat to the ninja. Like, putting a minifigure next to it, that is intimidating, like having it attack the ninja. And overall, I just really like this set. I think this might actually be one of, if not my favorite sets of the wave, which is crazy because it's only $20 and the box art does not do it justice. It's in a really whack pose on the box art, which doesn't really make it look that good, and I kind of feel sad for the designers and for people who are looking at it just based on the box art, because I feel like you really need to have this in hand to be able to see how good it is. Now, this is really the only villain-focused build of the wave. Obviously, we have a villain mech as a side build in one of the other sets, or in one of the dual sets we get the Empress mech, and we get a lot of little side builds, but this is the only set that is purely dedicated towards the villains. And honestly, it makes me wish that we had more villain sets from this wave, because it is such a cool concept. We know that LEGO designers have stated many times in the past that villain sets do not sell well. It is the ninja, the hero sets that sell the best in terms of Ninjago, which is why they will keep making hero sets and not really do as many villain sets as they used to. Where if you look at early waves of Ninjago like 2011 and 2012, the Skulkin and the Serpentine had crazy representation when it came to their villain builds, whereas nowadays it's a little bit less. Still, this is so cool to see and play around with. I love the way this is built. I have very few complaints, if any at all, which is strange because usually I'm a lot harsher on the way that certain things are built, and I really try to be as honest as possible, but I can't really say anything too negative about it. I really like the set. Maybe the only downside is without the figure, that looks really awkward. Like, why is that bright orange? I don't know, like, at least make it black or something. But I usually will probably be posing this with the figure because this is such a menacing look, to have the figure be holding the staff outwards, almost directing the creature towards its prey. This is a really cool look. I'm a big fan of how this turned out as a set in general, and I hope that people get the chance to experience it. It is only $20 after all, so if there's only one set you get from Dragons Rising and you're on a budget, I would highly recommend the Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound. I think it's really good value. $20 feels quite fair for a creature like this, and I think this is even something fun to army build. We've seen multiples of these in the trailers and in clips of the show, and it would be really cool. I might actually get a second one of this just to flesh out my scenes. I like it that much. That's all I have to say about this. Thanks all so much for watching this review, and of course these have just been my opinions, and I'm really interested to hear yours in the comments down below as well. Alright, and with that, we have summed up our look at the new Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the set? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you think of the build as a villain vehicle or kind of a villain creature in general? I, for one, love the villain minifigures. They just look so cool, and I'm a big fan of how this one turned out. But of course, I want to hear your thoughts, so do let me know. And thank you so much for tuning into Duck Bricks. Like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. And bye for now.